This is the Golden Broom podcast, bringing you the best coverage for all things college baseball, only on the Villains Media Network. Now introducing your hosts, Jay Johnson's Towel Boy Cody Slovinsky, Vandy Chris Keenhold, and Mr. Cheesy himself, Randy Jowers. Let's start the show, boys!
Welcome in to the Golden Broom podcast. I'm your host, Cody Slavinsky, joined by Vandy Chris as always, and joined with special guest, Coach Cam Hamsley, Roane State Community College, starting off right now 9-3 on the season. Coach, what's up?
Hey, again, really excited when you guys reach out and you want to chat it up with me for an hour or so. It's always a highlight. Good memories, good talk, so I'm glad to be here again, and lot to go over.
Definitely, man. We're excited to have you tonight. So I'm gonna ask just the easy question right now. You're sitting at 9-3, great start to the season. Who is it in the locker room right now that's sticking out to you? You're just like, man, this guy's a dude this year. Like, who are some of those guys? I guess.
I think maybe not the popular answer, but the truth is this year the reason we're in the situation we are is because it's really kind of a whole locker room thing, top to bottom. I have the most mature group of guys I've had. I love my guys. I love how they go about their business. I love how they interact with each other. There's not cliques. They all connect. I'm spending less time having to correct because they do it themselves. I think one big thing that is an example from this last weekend is we really had to try hard and didn't play our best at times, but I didn't have any guys like fold or pout or get frustrated or make excuses. They just kind of kept on coming, and that's really hard to get any kid that age to do, much less adult. I mean, I'm not even good at it, but for them to do that would be my best way to put it. And it's probably the hardest part of my job is I got a ton of guys that maybe aren't everyday guys right now that are really just chomping at the bit and should be in there too. But you just got such a great group of players going after it. But if I had to say a couple guys that have really kind of got us going is Grady Parsons is a pitcher I have that's really like a lot of chatter for us, was how's your pitching going to be like Roane may not have pitching and things like that. And obviously me as a coach, I take that pretty personal.
Sure.
But you're gonna have critics. It's all about the man in the arena. But what I'm saying is, like, gosh, I didn't know you had to have multiple guys throwing 90 plus to have a good pitching staff. I know it helps, but I'm just saying, I've got a bunch of guys right now in the pitching room that it's just deep. Maybe not the one or two top in talent, like Carter Olaf that's pitching at ECSU right now that pitched for us last year. Very talented. But I've got a lot more depth this year. But I would say Grady Parsons and Jackson Knotts are two pitchers that have done well. Sterling's a new guy that teammates love him, and he's been doing really good to kind of settle in. Those are three pitchers doing well. Trace Horn is a guy that transferred in from Georgia Highlands, and he's just a competitor. He wants to win, and he's brought a lot of good energy. Jake Brune from last year is another good pitcher. And then you just bring back some really mature position players. Cade Martin's our leadoff guy. He's coming back from the torn labrum, so I'm going to try to hold him in that DH spot as long as I can until we get to the warm weather, end of the season. And then I'll get him out to first base some more. But that's a third-year guy. And then Miles Denton is back, and, he's done it already. He's seen it. John O'Pierce, my shortstop, is, again, returner. He's committed to Carson Newman. He's been hitting it really well. He's in the top 5 in batting average right now for our conference. Owen Hutchinson's a true freshman that's come in, and he's pretty much just made it where I have to play him. He's got to be in there, and you want to play him because he does things right. He's more mature than what you would see out of a true freshman. He's had a couple growing pain things where we've had to get on him about, like, just not understanding the fit, like just swinging his way out of stuff when the situation doesn't dictate to. But he learns like that. He picks it up, and that's why he's able to be in there. Like I said, that's where it comes up where it's hard on the lineup stuff because you got other guys that have been here and they've been working, which is why baseball has so many good life lessons in it, when it comes to that stuff. But Owen Hutchinson's been doing great. Carson Yates is our returning center fielder. He's been here. He's done it. He transferred from TSU. He knows. Jacob Bly has kind of been a bright spot for us at second base. He's just kind of been a spark plug kid, and he's a funny character. So he's been good. At first base, Ben Edwards and Zach Wilson are both returners. They've been splitting time and really taking that well. And then at catcher, Mitch Victor and Johnny Larea, both returners, also been spark plug. Mitch had really big hit for us last weekend versus Cleveland State, and it's been doing well. So I can keep going on and on, but all those guys are doing some good stuff.
I like that you're so positive about it. That is great to hear. Which, I mean, you're never negative about your team.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say, like, baseball is so hard, and yeah, I'm blessed. Like, I got the best team in the nation. I do believe. Like, I don't want to coach anybody else. Like, to me, they're the best for me right now. I'm grateful. We'll have stuff come up that we got to go through as a team, family, and adversity stuff. But that's good. Like, that's what makes it worth it. That makes it all worthwhile. All those things. But yeah, I'm definitely proud to be their coach. They're better than I deserve. That's for sure. So, but it's going good so far. I think we started out 9-3. We lost a weekend series just because of some scheduling stuff that I really would have liked to have that I think would have helped us a little more to start conference play. Because really what happened is I think I scheduled pretty favorable for us to start where we could really build and see a lot of guys and grow because I was able to schedule a lot of home games and we were able to play them. And I think that helped us. But when we did start conference play, like Cleveland State, I think they had, played a couple more games, had it maybe a little bit tougher, traveled a little more. So the first game we played against them, we were just kind of shell shocked. Like, okay, like the level is up, and then we went into the second day, did a lot better, lost a close game, just almost won it, but just didn't execute well enough to. And then by the third game, we caught up to that level at that caliber, and we got us a win, which is big to be on the road in our conference and get a win, just like the SEC, ACC, anywhere else. It's big in our conference too. And I told my guys, I got stuff I'm checking off the list, and I said that's why I'm grateful that you guys put up with me, because I always wanted to be about you guys, but I've got stuff on my mind. Like, there's 3 teams. I've coached a team that was able to beat Cleveland State in the conference tournament and stuff like that. But going on my 4th year as a head coach, first 3 years, did not beat Cleveland State in a regular season game. Swept all of those. Never won one. Boom, they knocked that off the list. That's huge to go do that, because that weekend's been a 3 losses, over the past year. So to get that's huge. And then, going on this past weekend, the best kind of pitcher early in our conference duo. We had to face this past weekend. They came to Roane State. Pellissippi played Walter State the first conference weekend, and they went to Walters and beat them 2 out of 3. They've, early in the season, pitching is ahead of hitting. You'll have your big time bats that are going to come up in these situations early in the year. You'd love to see them execute. Doesn't always happen because they're just not all the way there yet. Mississippi's got an arm, and that's kind of what he came in and did for us. The progression was from Cleveland State weekend to the next one is, that arm was rolling, and we lost the first game this past weekend 3-0. We had the winning run at the plate, so we were right there, just couldn't quite get it done. But compared to the week before, we were shell-shocked that first game. We were right there. Next game, it was grinding. We had to grind, won 5-3. And then we won the series in the last game 5-4. Something like it, score something like that, But it's one of those where, we were able to grind and get to that next progression. So now going into this next weekend, we've got a doubleheader with Bryan College tomorrow, which will be really nice for us because I think it's going to prep us for this next conference weekend. It's going to allow me to get a few guys in there that I need to see that I want to get them in there and get some opportunities. So then it gives me even more freedom to decide to make some of those choices on things on a conference weekend. And then our next progression is we're going to Jackson State this weekend. Well, now it's time for us to go win a conference series on the road.
Yeah.
In Jackson State, they with the new conference with Pellissippi coming in, everyone's got a built-in bye week in their schedule. Well, Jackson State, they had the very first bye week, so they didn't play the first weekend. Then last weekend, they went to Chat State on the road to start, after Chat State's already gone and played conference one weekend before. And they got, beaten those 3 games, but they're going to be really hungry. They're now playing at home. They are hungry for that first conference win. So I'm excited just because it's going to be a great challenge for us. And I'm going to try to do all the things right that you can at least do to put your team in a good position. We're going to leave on Thursday, the day before. I'm going to make sure we have somewhere to practice and get some reps in on the way down. We'll get a workout in on Thursday morning. We'll do our scouting meeting. We'll hop on the charter bus and hopefully get a good night's sleep at a decent JUCO style hotel at least.
Right.
And then play 2 games Friday, 1 on Saturday, and go from there. But that's kind of the layout of what's been going on so far. I hope you guys a good vision.
So one of our commenters, friend of the show, Terry Walker, he has asked, hey, Coach, what tier is your team in as far as division goes? Introduce our viewers to Roane State for those who haven't seen us. And he also asked, do you ever play Angelo State?
Oh, nice. Well, Terry, thanks for the question. I like the picture you got there. I'm assuming that's maybe of his son, but that's grandson, son, whatever. It's pretty cool. But Roane State Community College is in East Tennessee. It's in between Cookeville and Knoxville. We're probably the most rural out of the Tennessee junior colleges. When I got the job, I was like, hey, We've had a program here, hasn't been doing very well. I want the mindset to change to we expect to win. So we need to have something nobody else has. So I asked the school for an indoor facility. They built it. Last year was our first year with it. We won 28 games. That's the most the team had won since 1991. It's not rocket science. That helped. After the season, I was like, hey, crazy thing is we won 28 games and we didn't even have a team workout because we didn't really have a weight room to do so. School, I've got an awesome administration now that's on it, and they want to see us do well, and they came in and built us a brand new weight room. So those have kind of been two big things for us. It's helped attract athletes and kind of get us there. But we're a Division I JUCO, which just means we have 24 NLIs that I can put guys on scholarships for with the scholarship budget I have. I can have 24 guys on that at a time. And at the Division I level of JUCO, you're able to give those scholarships for more than just tuition. So you can use it for housing or things like that to get your student athletes in there. There's 3 levels of junior college athletics, 1, 2, and 3. And Division II, obviously limiting on what you can give the scholarship for. And then Division III is no athletic-based scholarship. So very much, I guess, comparable to the NCAA levels there in a way. And we compete in the TCCA. Used to be called the TJCCCA, but they changed it TCCAA. So Tennessee Community College Athletic Association. There's 11 teams now from east to west. It goes Walters, Pellissippi State, Roane State, Cleveland State, Chat State. In the middle is Motlow, Columbia, and Vol State. And then as you move to the west side, you've got Jackson, Dyersburg, and Southwest, which is in Memphis. Their field is in Millington. They play at USA Stadium, which is pretty cool, 10 weekends of high-level junior college baseball with a bunch of kids who you'll see our conference every year. There's a ton of kids that get to move on and continue playing. I mean, it is a competitive conference. Probably the most competitive junior college conferences, as you can imagine, is the Florida, the Texas. California is its own thing over there. But, Florida, Texas, Georgia is whoever wins Tennessee has to play the Georgia winner to go to the College World Series for, NJCAA. But it's super competitive. Angelo State, I follow them, as a baseball guy, but I cannot get the money to get down to Texas to play a D2 powerhouse like Angelo State, and I love my guys and I think we do well, but I feel like we'd spend a lot of money to go down there and get thumped pretty good because, they got they're recent. I think they won a national championship within the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So, it's a big time D2 program over there. But yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for the question, Terry. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I saw Walters State right now. They're ranked 15th in the JUCO rankings.
It's good. It's awesome. It's awesome for us. Awesome for our conference. We play them
in a couple weeks, right?
I think at the very beginning of April or the end of March, which we'll be here before you know it. I mean, today, I hope you guys got to maybe get out and enjoy some of that great weather we had today because it was really our first signs of some spring weather today.
Yeah, it was nice.
Right. So another friend of the show, Sports Bike Podcast, good friend of ours, Oklahoma guy, asked the question, what does it mean to coach being the head coach of a JUCO team when he sees one of your players having success at the next level and beyond?
Oh, I mean, obviously it makes you really happy. I think I tell my guys all the time, that you want guys to, if they're going to be here, like you want them to have the intent that this is not their last place to play, that they're going to continue playing after this. And when you see them get to do so and have success, obviously, it makes your heart real big, excited for them. And obviously I tell my guys this all the time that they will do much more for me than I can ever do for them, so Like just anytime you get the call of a guy goes out of his way to text you or call you after he hadn't played for you for so many years, like, hey coach, like I'm having my first kid, or hey coach, I'm getting married. Hey coach, I just got this awesome new job. Like that means the world to me, because it's like, sometimes I'm like, gosh, like this kid hates me. He's, I'm not going to hear from him again or whatever. And, at least if you do, because I really do tell them, like, I love hearing that, they're awesome husbands and fathers and friends to other people, that like the message of like baseball is what you do. It's not who you are. Like you're out there and your identity's like, I'm a baseball player. Life's when baseball's over, life's going to get really hard on you, because you're not going to find that identity. But if you put it in, being a good friend, husband, father, brother, uncle, like those things, and that be who you are, it's a pretty big deal. So when they text me or call me with that stuff, it's awesome. But yes, when I turn on a game, you can follow these games on, you get the ESPN app, and you can go to watch and find NCAA baseball. You can watch, mid-majors. Most of them now are where you can watch any of their midweek games, weekend games, and like today, Carter Olaf, that played at Roane State last year, now pitches at ETSU, and he pitched 2 innings today, 3 strikeouts, 1 hit, no runs given up, and nice. ETSU beat App State. So
it's a good win.
Very excited to see him do that there, and got a lot of guys. I'm following from last year's team. Still got a pretty good handful playing. I've got a picture from 3 years ago. Danny Glenos, he's actually still trying to play professionally a little bit, Pioneer League, but he got drafted onto a team, and he's still kind of trying to play. So it's really fun to kind of follow those stories.
I was actually going to ask you about him, because I know he was at Montevallo. So, so I was going to ask you, because I've gotten to see a couple Montevallo games so far this year, and they're actually pretty solid.
I'm talking about tough conferences. The Gulf South Conference is really, really good. Just like top to bottom, they got some really good teams. Trevecca moved into the Gulf South this year, so it's nice, with like your Alabama teams, Huntsville, Montevallo, West Alabama. And then, West Florida's in the Gulf South, and then on the Georgia side, Valdosta, or maybe one more Georgia team I'm missing in there. And then, Tennessee, Union out of Jackson's there. Lee is in there, and they've been rolling really well. Obviously, I said Trevecca's in there now. So just a good D2 conference.
So let me ask you specifically about 2 of your players that have connections to a high-level program, Miles Denton and Matt Heflin. Of course, Matt's brother pitched at Tennessee. Miles' brother played there third base last year, I think the year before, but I'm not certain. But he was even at Alabama.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to those guys and ask them for pointers on how did your brothers deal with this with their coaching staff at Tennessee? And do you ask Matt, like, okay, what does Charlie do to help you guys help your brother prepare that maybe I can use?
Unfortunately, the answer is no, I don't. This may sound, like it's just the way to go about it is, honestly, like most of the coaches we have, around us are honestly really, really open and welcoming about like answering questions. I think if I had a question for Coach Vitello, I could call or text him and he would get back to me within a couple days. Same for Coach Corbin, Coach Braga at Tech. Usually if I have kind of something go on there, I will go to those places for advice first, because they've been doing it longer than me, had a lot more success. Coach Tom Griffin at Carson Newman's awesome. He's another one. And I joke with I have my assistant Garrett Dalton. It's phenomenal. Gosh, like if we could go on WWE, we would win a tag team championship together.
Nice.
We would have belts. But we joke that he is in charge of coach relationships, because I'm just not good with other coaches, because I don't talk to them enough, so they don't get my sense of humor. So that I don't bother with them. I let him, because he's chatterbox. He does awesome with them, and he likes to ask questions and learn, and that's why he's such a good coach, and will continue to get better. But I'm so grateful to have him. And then I kind of try to deal with umpire relations. I'm really, really try to be pretty good with that. And then, I wear it out on the recruiting stuff, but that's kind of like some of the off the field or in between the nuance stuff. But that's usually what I go to. There's a lot of coaches that I can kind of confide in for, when I have situations come up and say, like, how would you deal with this? That's the best thing. And then as far as, you talk about like talking to players about stuff, one kind of coaching thing I really like to do, and they have to earn some of these opportunities, but it's like, I'm the coach, I'm going to make the decisions, but I also really like to ask guys and kind of put them in a situation like, hey, what would you do in this situation? Or, hey, should we go with this guy here today, or this guy, and I know that, may sound intense, because it's like, oh, they're picking their teammates. And the thing the guys don't realize is I'm still going to do whatever I want to do. I just want
to say, you already know.
to hear their thoughts on it, because you're always trying to build, whether it be baseball IQ, a relationship. Oh, coach, he's giving me a say in some, like it builds that investment level, or just
right.
want to, hear my opinions on it. And it's good. And it's stuff where those little conversations I can put kind of in my, mental notebook, and it can help later. So you're kind of like pay now so you don't have to regret it later, and things like that. That's usually how those conversations go, and trying to ask questions and things. But, with all that, you just kind of want to open the floor and let them share what they want to share. Sometimes they're not ready to share a ton. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they really have some opinions on things, and you can let them get it out. And, sometimes they get too heated. You say, hey, that's enough. We broke that point. What's funny for my guys, they get in such lingo about talking to themselves, and I'll walk through the locker room and I'll hear something, and, I'll just make a funny comment. They're like, yeah, bruh. Oh, sorry. Yes, coach. Don't call me bruh. I'm not your bruh. Like, that's your teammates. But they're good about, yes, sir, and no, sir, eye contact. Mm-hmm. Try to put that as a priority. And just those things mean a lot to us. Like, right. I'm telling you right now, like, I want my guys to play hard. I want them to have a chip. But I try to take away about as much opportunity to make an excuse as I can, because then when adversity hits, it's kind of can consume. When really it's like you face a good pitcher, well, it's problem solving. Okay, like mm-hmm. First time through the lineup, maybe he got us, but the second time through.
Did you see what he was throwing when you were up there?
Oh, yeah, it's got to be all that.
Or next time.
Yeah, right. Like this is how it's moving. This is how it's breaking, things like that. And then, like if he gets us a second time, or if he gets a guy here second time through the lineup, it's like I better not hear you come in and now the umpire screwed you, or this is why. I don't have time for that. Like right. All I need to hear is, good, I'm going to be back in that box 30 minutes from now, and now I'm going to get in. Like what? Right. Like that's kind of how you can kind of overcome some of that. Baseball's too hard already. That's a good one.
That's a former coach to a coach. So he actually coached under Augie Garrido back in the day.
Wow, that's wild. That's really cool. Everybody, all my players too, they love some of the Augie Garrido videos out there, because I mean he's a phenomenal motivator. Speaking of umpires, I do want to give a shout out, which I just because like I really do think they do a good job overall, especially with educating them. Last year, I moved to Mid-South Umpires Association out of Nashville, but they do such a good job educating their umpires, and I have a group that just as a handful. I don't even have one that I can just pick out that I just can't stand. Like they are well educated every time they come to my park. So Mid-South umpires, Chuck Pack, Scott Klein, Jeff Wright, like all those guys are doing great to educate umpires. And I know that sounds wild to say because everybody hates umpires, and I have my day, but usually I can leave it after, I haven't had the one yet. I feel like every coach maybe has one in his career where like, this is the guy, keeps coming up consistently. Issues. I haven't had that yet, but I'm still fresh. I'm still fresh on the head coaching train going into, I'm in year 4. I don't know, maybe year 5, you can call it that, if you count my intern, but it's still early. So we'll see.
Right.
Maybe. Have you been ejected yet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if you had.
For sure. I had one last year. It was actually against Walters. Every team and every team you have is different, the personality and stuff. And like last year's team, like at JUCO, you don't have a lot of fans out there to create the noise and the loudness. Sure. Where you get caught up in that is because of that, your team has to create it. Well, there's a fine line too, because one, I don't want my guys, John, at the other team, like stay with us. Sure. But also can't bench jockey, like that's in the rules. But there's like a fine line there. And, we never had an issue at any of our games until Walter State came to town. And then, for me, I felt like, Walter State probably said something to the umpire. And then all of a sudden it's this big issue. You can't do this, you can't do that, which is fine. I love Coach Shelton. He's helped me a lot. But in that realm of competing, like I'm trying to do everything I can to give my team the opportunity to win. Well, they ended up, like giving us some warnings and like, Coach, you guys need to stop. And I just looked at them and was like, we're not going to stop. Like we're going to continue. And they tossed one of my players out that was in there just, rah-rah and, like banging on the roofs and stuff in the dugout, having a blast. And, because that's what they're doing, honestly. They're just having a blast, enjoying competing. But bench jockeying is the call. So, obviously, I go out there just absolutely irate. I don't know how I didn't get tossed, but I don't even remember what all I said in that moment. Try to keep it PG. But yeah, there's been some other times. There's been some other times where I have I think I'm at 2. I'm at 2 in 5 years, I guess, is what you'd say. So
you're not quite Bobby Cox yet.
No. Well, you got to be careful because you get tossed. You get tossed in this game, you got to sit out the next game. If you make contact with an umpire, which I've never done, but that costs you like another game or 3 games or something like that.
Gosh.
And if you get tossed twice in a season, then you got to start paying, extra fines, and it's an extra game. And we just don't play enough games for all that, So you kind of got to pick your situations here. There's a lot of times where, you'll have a bang bang play. And at my level, we can't go to the headsets or get or anything. So a lot of times I'll go out there. Call time. I just go out to the line on my side. He'll come over and I'll say, listen, this is what I saw. What did you see? And sometimes I'm like, hey, I need you to go ask for help on this call because I know for a fact this is what happened. I really need you guys to discuss it. Sometimes they'll change it and they'll see it that way, and sometimes they won't. Sometimes he'll come in, he'll be like, Coach, I had the call. I'm not asking for help. Okay. I had one, again, I said these umpires are still in training, but I had one pretty recently where one of my guys picked off to first base, got the base runner in a rundown, ended up having a play back at first base where we tossed it, he slid in, we put the tag down. Because we had a two-man crew and there were runners on other bases, field umpires way over here. When the final play happened, they both were on top of first base. Home plate umpire made his way down. It's his call. He went safe. At the same time, the field umpire raised up his hand for an out for like a minute, and then he realized it really wasn't his call and put it down. They ended up calling him safe. I called over the home plate umpire and was like, "Hey, listen, the reason I'm calling you over here is because you guys are both on top of the play. I know it's your call, but you called him safe. Steve, we'll just call him Steve. He started to race for an out sign. I would love if you guys would discuss that." It was one of those where if they give it to us, game's over. So that's the last out. And he said, we had that discussion on my way to walk to you. I don't need to go talk. We're not changing. I said, all right. I picked my poison. I was like, that's not the one I'm going to get, tossed on here. And very next pitch, I think the guy ended up flying out to left field, win game, all good. I would have been aggravated if I would have had to sit out this next game just because But it's fun stuff. I like the umpire talk.
So you talked about your facilities and the improvements they've made at Roane State. Yeah. Our gracious host of the Villain Sport Media Network, College Sports Villains, is asking, USC Union is a great stadium. How did you like it?
USC Union, we played them last year. They play in Jonesville, so their field is off campus. I don't know if that's still where they play, if that's still their home park this year, if they're getting a new one or whatever. That one's in a very it's got kind of a historic setup, but I love my stadium. I don't necessarily have anything bad to say about their stadium. I just like my stadium more, But yeah, absolutely. To answer that question, if you enjoy watching a game there, that's awesome. Maybe not my favorite stadium, but I did enjoy my trip. Great hospitality. I ate at a burger place down there in Jonesville, or maybe it was actually maybe closer down in Union, but only took cash, but it was phenomenal burgers and shakes. I wish I could remember the name, but yeah, they're having a good year this year to start too. We didn't, obviously didn't get to play them. That was that scheduling conflict I had. We planned to go down there again this year, but I think they're 10-1 to start. So they're having a really good year. Mm-hmm. Good to see for those guys. Really, really like that coach.
I think you got to share the Terry creation.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so in honor of your great starts to the season, I have come up with a stadium food for your Raiders. Imagine a waffle cone filled with chopped Nashville hot chicken with bacon mac and cheese with blue Taki sticks.
Tell you what, I'm in.
I mean, so I actually went and so when he said that, I went ahead and AI'd it. I'm about to say I typed in his description, and that's what AI gives us.
There you go.
I would eat the mess out of that at a baseball game.
Yeah,
it's good ballpark food. We're actually working on. It's kind of the next thing for us. We're trying to do some improvements to we don't have. Like I said, I love my ballpark, but we don't have maybe the best press box and seating and stuff. It's kind of like USC Union. They're still just bleachers out there, right? So we're trying to do some stuff where we can get stadium seating, new press box, and kind of improve that setup. Concession stands always kind of spotty, to be honest with you. But one thing I'm super excited about, you guys get to take advantage of it too. I'm sure, you've got some minor league teams where y'all are from, but we're getting the Knoxville Smokies moving, down from Sevierville, Gatlinburg area. So they're opening the new stadium in Knoxville, and I can't wait to see what kind of ballpark food they're going to be, going for. And I expect this summer when I'm not busy recruiting and stuff, I'm going to be checking out some of those games down there because it's not too far from me. So
Yeah, that'd be nice. Absolutely.
all right, so let's get into some of this Division One baseball. I want to
Do
talk
it,
start of the season, what we got going on, and
for
talk
sure.
to that baseball.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and add this graphic right here of all the rankings currently. To give an update, we said earlier, Troy took out Mississippi State tonight. Texas State from the Sun Belt takes out number 1 Texas A&M tonight, 7-2. So that's a big, big win for the Bobcats early on.
Hmm.
I mean, it's early in the season so far, but I mean, we've seen some insanity to say the least.
Telling you, just don't mess with the Fun Belt. Those teams are
Yes.
good enough to play in any of those big power leagues. I mean, in baseball, it's different. We got like a Power 5, Power 6 going on. There's so many good teams.
So, did you see last season by chance the kid on Texas State that was actually using work gloves for batting gloves?
Oh yeah, that's a thing. That's I want to say that's been a thing. I'm a little deeper in the baseball world of coaching and stuff, and
Sure.
you'll see some of those guys. It's kind of the mantra. It's like it's a workman's mentality, right? So they'll go to probably Lowe's or Home Depot or something. They'll get them some cattle gloves or something, and they'll wear those. And I will tell you, they probably gotta put some extra pine tar or some stuff
Oh,
on
for sure.
grip, but I bet you they last a lot longer than most of these batting gloves out there now.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
I
But,
remember my dad would get mad at me when he'd buy me new batting gloves and like 2 weeks later have a rip in them or something.
Oh yeah, I know. But if you're hitting and you're swinging, it happens just like that.
Yep.
A couple teams, just like these are off my hot list. Obviously, I know it's a sin, but 2 favorite teams are in baseball are Tennessee and Vanderbilt. I know that's a sin. Don't ask me who I cheer for whenever they play because I'd have to tell you. Been a Tennessee fan longer, so got to go
I
there.
already know.
But those are my 2 favorites in the baseball world. But I'm telling you, just looking at it right now, like the 2 best teams for me are Florida State and Tennessee. Like those teams, like we'll see how the season ends and who's at the end because we're just getting started. But
Sure.
Link Jarrett, Florida State, those teams he's been putting together, they're on the cusp and they're gonna win a national championship at some point. It very well may be this year.
Agreed.
I love what Vanderbilt's doing. Like they adapted to the NIL stuff and have not necessarily had a bad year at all, but their just standard was so high that maybe the last few years weren't quite up to where they wanted to be, right? But they're still always there, and I love what they're doing to start this year. And then Clemson's going to be another team that's going to be there, be competitive. I don't know if you guys caught the video opening weekend of Florida has got like a true freshman Randy Johnson-esque kid that's
Yes.
high nines, just was dominant. It's like, wow, freshman, that's awesome. So they're going to be there at the end. Obviously, LSU's always there. UNC's had a really good start to the year.
They have.
We'll see what happens there. But
Yeah, we
So-
actually we had a kid on from LSU, William Schmidt. He came on and did an interview with us right before the season started, and he was projected to go, I want to say, like 17th overall in the major league draft out of high school. And I just want to go to college. And let me tell you, the mindset of this kid is the most amazing I've ever seen from a baseball player. He said, and I quote, "I have no idea how much money I turned down, and I really do not care."
that's
And
awesome.
I'm like, wow. And he got his first start last night, and he came, his pitch count was at 30 to start the season, and they extended him to 60 last night, and that boy was winded at the end of his outing. He did
Yeah.
great. Don't get me wrong, he really did. I think he allowed 1 run and no walks. Like he was really on his A game last night. But he's like a beanpole, but his fastball sits between 96 and 98. His curveball is just ungodly, and he said he's developing a changeup right now.
Yeah, well, and like essentially, if he gets to the point where he can find the changeup, land all three of those, I mean, he's a starter.
Absolutely.
He's a starter. That's the only thing that's keeping him from being. And again, he's early in his career. He's just getting out there and getting to it. So he'll be fine. That's awesome. Did you guys ever get to have on kid that was Simlar from Columbia Central, went to MTSU, I think? Weren't you guys?
Yeah.
You're talking about you're talking about Connor Bowden.
Bowden.
Yeah. We had him on the show after yours. Actually, that's awesome. A good kid. He's a really good kid.
Yeah, it is. It's cool when you get to talk to some of the guys, about their experiences. Like Matt Heflin. He comes from a baseball family. I've got him over with me. He's been awesome. He's an amazing kid. He's kind of trying to figure out. He's got a little arm stuff going on right now, but I sent him to coach first base this weekend. He did a heck of a job. He was helping us a little bit with you're always trying to get something that extra, like for example, like if the catcher's not going to close his legs, like what we're going to find out what they're calling. That's you got to keep those tight. If the pitcher's tipping, like maybe there's an extra bob of the glove, or maybe there's a wiggle, depending on what, like there's so much you can, you'll find, and we keep a chart of that in the dugout, call it the UCLA chart, because you're trying to get their timing, like you get a runner on, UCL, go to the plate. Well, if I know he's going to go on L every time, we're stealing, we can get a jump. Just trying to get some details like that is just one of the charts, but my team's moved. I bought, cost money, of course, everything does, but we moved to wristbands. So when we want to put a play on or call pitches, everybody on our field that's on defense knows what we are doing or throwing. Still call first and thirds out loud, and usually if it's a bunt situation, bunts up. There's times where, you'll run a wheel play where you're sending the shortstop over to third base early so the third baseman can crash, and or you're running it's wheel pick play where you're doing all that, but then your second baseman's crashing and we're trying to pick. So you're hoping the runner at second feels the shortstop going there. It's like, oh, I'm good. He kind of starts leaning, and then we can get him picked. But we actually executed this past weekend. Pelisipi was trying to move a runner to third. We ran our wheel play. So, pitcher comes set. Once the shortstop has gained enough ground towards third base, he can throw it. They bunted the ball to Miles at third. He turned it around, threw it to Jono at third. We got the guy out, and it's, obviously they're trying to move that runner. That's a big play for us to execute. So, but the wristband stuff's, it's good. I enjoy it, but it's kind of one of those things where you adapt. Like the old part of it is like, like that's part of the game, like figuring out tipping pitches and having good sign systems so people don't pick it up and all that, which I agree. But with the way technology is now, again, adapt or die. Like
exactly,
you're putting yourself at where if you're not doing some of those things, and at the highest level, I'm sure you guys see the pitch comms are to the point where it's not even wristband. It's like they got a sound in their hat, and so it's loud and the same. You'll see that pitcher, he'll put his glove to try to cover it so it'll echo into his ear so he can hear it. He'll get the sign and he'll go. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, initially when they came out with the wristbands, we were, all of us in like our college baseball group, we were kind of iffy about it. We're like, I don't know about this. But now that I've seen how it works, I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea.
Honestly, and too, like a lot of that stuff, even though, again, the old head, like, games can last as long as they need to, but it does make the game go faster. So for the fan aspect, to get more people, into it, it does help that, and the pitch clock stuff, things like that. So it's really good, I think. What are some of these teams on here you guys are like fired up about? Obviously we got to talk about some Vandy baseball too.
So check this out. Coach Robinson, the UCLA timing method, stealing on pitchers, started with Stanford.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now everybody uses that cadence, or most teams do. You know, like if they're trying to pick it up, they're UCLA. That's pretty wild. That's a good little stat. I didn't realize that.
So you asked about teams on here. I've got my eye on a team right now that's not listed on here as receiving any votes. Northwestern is off to a really good start.
You have been very high on them, actually.
Considering where they've been the last 2 years,
Yes.
with their entire coaching staffs quitting, coaches getting fired, for them to start out the way they have, they've won their first 2 series. First time in many years that they've done that.
Yeah.
And now they get a chance to go on the road to Duke this weekend, who just got beat again today.
Yep.
So
now you're looking at Northwestern really make some noise here and build on what's been a solid start.
That's awesome. And I mean, you know, to piggyback off that with the Duke thing, you know, that's another reason maybe a team that's not listed on here, but I think needs to be followed is Cincinnati.
Yes.
Has played really well early, which is cool for me because, you know, me doing a lot of strength and conditioning stuff with my guys, their strength and conditioning guy is really good about, like, I'm in a group where a lot of that stuff is shared and it helps me, you know, kind of build the plans for our guys. And, you know, I see the work they're putting in, but Cincinnati's a team that's playing well. And I'm blanking. Is Cincinnati in the ACC now? No, they're not in the ACC. Where are they? Are they Big 10, Big 12?
Big 12. They are
Big 12, I thought.
Yeah, I think they are Big 12 now, yeah. I'm so confused with all the conference realignments. I still haven't gotten it.
All that. You know what another hard one too is like with in between the OVC and the Missouri Valley and the Sun Belt, like there's a lot of teams and the Conference USA too. Between those four, there's been a lot of movement of teams there.
Oh yeah.
Like Dallas Baptist is always going to be there. You know, they're one of the best mid majors consistently, but they've been you know, they were in the Missouri Valley for a long time. Now they've moved to Conference USA. But they're always there.
Yep.
What's weird to me, and it's like I'm really interested to see how it pans out, is and not just for baseball, but really every sport, but I'm just looking at it as baseball right now. What in the world does Oregon State do? They're an independent team. And, like, how do you and to me, I just think about how hard it would be to schedule teams when they get in the thick of conference play. And it's like you almost have to – I know there's plenty of teams probably, but, like, you have to perfectly be able to line out your schedule with the 1 or 2 teams each week. Or
they have bye weeks, yeah.
Actually have a bye week and hope that they'll come play you. And
you can't call the shots anymore, and it's a shame.
Yeah. Well.
But, I mean, I will say, if you get a chance, go look at Oregon State's schedule this year. It might be one of the more entertaining schedules you will ever see in a college baseball season. Like, because of them having to do that. And they lined up some really good series. But they do have a series with Oregon this year still. They played Grand Canyon a few times this year and a lot of California teams. But it's a very respectable schedule.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good to hear. It's nice. I think another team to follow, just kind of watching them early and some highlights and stuff, is Georgia Tech. I think that they may have a little bit better year than they've had over the last couple, and are always pretty consistently good, but have a better year than they've had. I really do think they'll do all right.
Drawing a blank on his name, but didn't they have the freshman of the year last year?
Yeah, Drew Burris. Yep.
Oh yes. Yeah, Burris.
And I did see where he's got 3 home runs already.
Yeah.
Just hit those recently. He didn't hit those week 1. He hit those like just the last few days.
Those position players for them, they're deep. They got a lot of good dudes there.
So here's a fun tidbit for you. So this season, LSU is doing something that they're not known for ever. They're playing more of a West Coast style of baseball. So they're more about speed and getting hits versus going for power. Yeah,
he like Coach Johnson, he's smart. He's been doing it a while. He probably looked at the dynamic of the team he had and said, like, we are going to coach this team different, and try to, like, and you try to pick the big three. It's like sandwich method. You know, you look at your team, you say, all right, these are the three things like we are going to really hammer our guys in. Like these are the things that they're going to know. That's priority for us. And, you know, like you're going to have those teams where they come out there and they slug 100 and something home runs in 60 games, crazy. And they're just, you know, they can bop it. But then you're going to have years where you're going to have to play some small ball, and you're going to be sitting over there and saying, well, I can't just get a guy to first base and someone's going to hit a home run here. Like the mentality is you're going to force something to happen. So it's like we may get thrown out, we may not, but when we get to first base or we get to second base, we're not going to wait for something to happen. We're going to put something in motion. And, 100% West Coast style. Like, let's just keep playing, keep it moving. And, you know, some days will be our day. More days than not will be your day, is honestly the mentality. Because when you prioritize that style and you work on that style, it ends up working out for you more. Like, you'll have a couple games where you're just not a bit of it will get executed, and those look nasty, right? But 9 times out of 10, it's almost like getting overstimulated for the other team, where so many times you're stealing, you're moving, you're doing, and it has to keep them on their toes. And so things get like this, you know, it's like a pressure cooker for the other team.
Oh yeah. And yeah, Justin LeBron at Bama, that kid against Ohio State the other day, down 10-0, hits 2 home runs in the game. They end up coming back winning 12-10 on a walk-off home run. That was cool to watch. It really was.
That's electric. And I mean, that's where, I mean, it's, you know, you get to see some of the depth and what can happen in baseball. That's why they say, like, you have an out. That's all you need. You just need to have one out, because you can't run out the time clock in baseball. So
I remember a team that was down 10-2 in the third inning of a SEC championship game and came back to win that.
I'm sure you did.
I ain't going to mention no names.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But to be fair, that was probably the best thing for the University of Tennessee that it didn't work out, because look at them now. They're on top of a mountain.
Yeah, you know, and I will tell you, he's at Johnson University, which is an NAIA school in just outside of Knoxville, and that program, it was basically a fresh start, and then he's taken them over. They're on fire this year. I think it has been awesome, you know, what he's done over there. And then even when he was at Tennessee, you know, like, he got it going, but just not enough to stay. And then, you know, the Tony Vitello and that team was able to come in and kind of get it rolling. But no, it's pretty cool. He stayed in the area, and Johnson University is doing well. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, fair enough. The West Coast style, I get it.
But
I'm curious to see
really
how it plays out.
Did he really get it going at Tennessee? He only made the SEC. He only made it
on the cusp of getting it going.
But he only made the SEC. He only made the SEC tournament 3 times in 6 years.
Yeah, but you got to think about it too, though. At that point, Tennessee was not backing their baseball program the way they should have been. And then Vitello comes in, he says what he wants, he gets what he wants, and he leads them to where they are now. And obviously, I mean, he literally built a program essentially from nothing to what it is now. And it's honestly, it's been amazing to see. And getting to meet him last year, I mean, he is such a good guy. He really is. And you can tell that his passion is just, I mean, it's unmatched. And I mean, just chatting with him for like 5 minutes at the tournament last year, I mean, you can just see that he's different.
Yeah.
And I respect that.
I think it's definitely really cool. It all kind of works out like it's supposed to. I know for me, and like where I'm at, goes back to the man in the arena talk, right? So, you know, whatever journey I'm on, there's always people that aren't in the arena that can say, you know, well, you know, you haven't done this yet, or, you know, Roane State hasn't done this, and You're having a good year last year. You're having a good year this year. That's just a fluke, or whatever. I love that. It's like good, because that's kind of my mindset is when, one game ends or one series or even one season, it's like, all right, like on to the next one. Like that's like leave all that in the past. Definitely want to appreciate it, talk about it, celebrate it, but at the same time, like that's I want to keep going. So it all really does work out. But that coaching arena, I guess, as I keep moving up, I'll get more fun. I'll tune into the show, and you guys will be on here just like, what was Coach Cam doing over there? I mean, did you guys see that play he was running? Why did he do that there? And I'll probably be like, you know what? I'll call into the show. Hey, I don't know what I was thinking in that moment. No idea.
So speaking of that, actually, I do have a question. So what's the update on us being able to watch your games now?
Good. So, like I said, Aware Sports is a company that I've been working with. We tested the access point, and we have enough signal to get it set up. Unfortunately, now I'm at the hands of some other workers over at Roane State that have to install that access point.
Sure.
Waiting quite a while on that, but once that happens, they'll come in and install their cameras, and then I'll be able to stream basically all my games. Right now, obviously, I'm limited to Game Changer, and then I have our Instagram account, RSCC Baseball, where I end up posting the highlight videos after our series. But we're closer than ever. We're trying to move in that direction. It'll be big for us. I want it for the families more than anything else, so they can follow their kids and stuff. But we're close. I will tell you, when I do get it installed, you guys will be in the first 5 people that get it after my mother, my Uncle Brad, and a few other people. So,
there you go. I like it. Do you think it will be this season?
I think maybe by the back end of this season, there's a good possibility. And then one thing that I will say will be nice, I'll make sure I do for you guys is the conference tournament is always 100% gets streamed. So I'll send you that link whether through YouTube or wherever. You guys will kind of be able to follow those games. And sometimes the commentary gets kind of spotty.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think that makes it more fun. I really do. Like it's cool that we have that. But,
that's cool.
All right,
I'm used to commentary getting spotty when a team has got a 16-2 lead in the 5th inning. It's like, what do we talk about here?
Fair enough. What player have we not named off the roster yet? Who else could potentially still go in the game?
Right.
Yeah.
What about I do want to move over and talk a little bit about some SEC men's basketball, though.
Yes.
Yes. Got a lot of good things going. Obviously, you got to be super proud of your Vandy men's team and the season they've had.
Yes. The polite way of saying good riddance, Jerry.
There you go. There you go.
I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah. Well, I know I was thinking about you whenever Tennessee was playing Vanderbilt.
We should have won both of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
fair enough. I won't argue. So, I was thinking about that, and I'm watching the end of the Tennessee LSU right now. So, you're liable to have. There may be 12 teams in the SEC that make the tournament.
I think there should be 12.
I agree.
It's wild.
It's going to end up being 13 when LSU wins the SEC tournament. It's going to happen.
There you go. Hey, I'm telling you, they've gotten hot. They're playing really well near the end, like as far as close games. Mm-hmm. Georgia beat Florida tonight. That's pretty wild.
That was a weird game.
Goodbye, number 1 seed for Florida.
Yes.
I've argued with the Florida fan all day about that number 1 seed. I don't think they should have been in the conversation to begin with. I had Duke in that spot simply because Duke doesn't have that 20-point blowout loss, and they didn't give up 100 points to a 500 team in their conference. To me, Duke has the better resume.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Duke. I would put Duke there as well. I get it. I get it. Auburn and Alabama are both playing well. I thought it's been interesting to watch Kentucky's first season without Cal and Mark Pope. Like they got some momentum. They've had a couple big wins, but also kind of fizzled out. I'll be interested to see how they do in the tournament.
So what's interesting to me is 2/3 of the SEC is built the same way.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is they're going to beat teams that they shouldn't beat, and they're going to lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to. And that's 2/3 of the SEC is built like that. And when you look at the construction of the rosters, Kentucky and Vanderbilt are identical. You got 5 guys running the 3-point line with no post play. And in the SEC, that's not a recipe for success. But somehow both of them have made it work.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're right. That's kind of what, it's interesting when you get into March Madness. I can speak as a Tennessee fan when this happens, but, you'll run into a team that just is absolutely shooting the lights out of it from 3, and your team can't make a shot. And it's like, holy cow, but Vanderbilt could potentially be a team that does that to other people this year. You never know, but at least getting in that national tournament and kind of just seeing what happens. You guys know anything can happen. Any team, doesn't matter. I swear to you, I learned new colleges that are Division I basketball schools just by when they open up the 64 bracket. I'm like, oh crap! I probably have heard of Iona before.
Yeah,
right.
In a minute, holy cow! Where are they at? It's pretty fun stuff.
The intriguing one for me this year is St. John's, because if you remember, about a year ago, Coach Pitino went on a tirade and just said, "My roster stinks. My players aren't good. I had to take everybody else's garbage and make a team out of it, and we stink." And all of a sudden, they're one of the best teams in college basketball.
So what he said worked.
Apparently so.
100%. I'm trying to think about, like I said, I do think 12 teams get in from the SEC. What about, is it Dan Wolken that took the job at Milwaukee? Who's somebody that was a beat writer took Milwaukee in there, and like they're terrible. Like it was like those experiments, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah, absolutely terrible. I think it was Wolken.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, because what's his name? Wojnarowski. He went to be like a AD or something at a school, or however you say his name, or Wojcicki or something like that.
Yeah, that's wild. It's wild stuff. But yeah, I'm super excited for some March Madness in the tournament. It's going to be fun. That SEC tournament. If I wasn't in the midst of baseball season, I'd probably try to sneak down to Nashville and catch one of those games. I don't know if they got it, so it's like every year there now. But I think Nashville's perfect to host that SEC tournament.
Absolutely.
So
they should make that permanent.
Yeah, they should. What did you guys think about the NHL where they put on that like 4 nations?
Dude, that was insane.
Like that's like what the NBA wishes they could accomplish with their, getting excitement in the league, because like everybody was like super into that.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that the U.S. couldn't beat Canada.
Yeah,
but
one lost the championship one, but the game was electric, and I know you had a ton of people tuning in. That it's like, holy cow, we got this like right in the middle of NHL season. I think that's perfect.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was happy to see fights. That's my thing with hockey. If I'm watching hockey, I've got to see a good fight. And I was happy to see fights. But I got a buddy, he's from Canada, and he instantly after the game, he had a picture of a Canadian goose standing on an eagle, and I was like, man.
Great.
So, me personally, I had to laugh at the end result. And it's not because I don't love the USA and all that kind of stuff. But What good did it do anybody to start 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game? You won the preliminary. You got your butt kicked in 2 out of the 3 fights. And then when it mattered, you got your butt kicked again. What are we doing here? The humor in all of that is what gets me.
Hey, I'm telling you, the hot takes. That's why you're in this. That's a big time hot take. I love that. But it does. Once you get on the other end of it, they always say, like, and it goes both ways. Tell my guys, don't remember what you do initially. Remember how you respond. Well, USA wins the last one. You're not able to say that.
Right.
They didn't. Now, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
So
It's
we
not
have
how you
an
start, it's how you
interesting
finish.
topic happening right now. So Stetson, as you saw tonight, they played Florida and they ended up losing. They were officially announced that they are protesting the result of the game. I have not seen a protest of a baseball game in a long time.
I'm here for it.
And there is a image that clear as day shows everything they need to see. So
Is it? Let me ask you this: All right, so you can. Is it? You can go to the headsets and challenge.
mhm.
So if they're protesting, that tells me they didn't have any challenges left, and
So what happened? They hit a ball back to the pitcher. It went off his glove, rolled to the shortstop. Run comes in from third, scores. They throw the ball to first, not in time. Called him safe originally. Sullivan called for a replay. What I've read on the 11.7 post about it is they didn't have a camera angle of first base to show whether he stepped on the safety bag or the white bag. And they overturned the call.
Oh man!
Run comes off the board. Game's no longer tied. End of the inning.
And then the momentum completely shifted.
Wow.
So
Well,
I don't blame Stetson at all for protesting. If there was no camera angle for them to look at, how can you overturn that?
Darn, gosh, wish I had cameras. Be crazy. But with the rule they put in that safety base. So on every play, white base belongs to the defense, green base belongs to the offense. Only time that switches is on a drop third strike. And then the white belongs to the offense, green belongs to the defense, which is pretty. But I mean, it's tough because you think about it, like, they put that in there for safety. I need to look a little bit further on what the ruling is about, like, if a guy runs through first base and he touches any part of the white base, or if he doesn't, he hits the white base and not the green base, can you challenge that and get interference if the guy is safe? Like what I'm saying? I need to look a little bit more detail into that.
So there's the image.
Yes. So they called him safe, or they called him out.
They originally called him safe and then overturned it.
After they went to video review, but they didn't have a certain angle at first base.
Right.
Camera? Okay.
I mean, right there, it looks like he's on the correct side of it.
Man, that's crazy. I bet. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I really don't. But if the rule is you can't touch the white base whatsoever, then that may be why he got called out.
Yeah. We have a breaking story in college baseball.
Okay.
Portland State's Ryan Rembiz has thrown a perfect game. 9 innings, no hits, no walks,
Right.
12 Ks on
Holy
86
crap.
pitches.
86.
Good
Wow.
boy Ryan. Good boy
That's
Ryan.
amazing.
Nasty.
My God.
Pound in the zone. Fly
Yeah.
out, fly out, ground out, fly out. Gotta love it.
I mean, averaging under 10 pitches an inning is like a coach's dream.
Yes.
Good. It's good.
Jeez.
Have that on your charts too. We have a 13 pitches or less chart. You stay under that 13 pitches, you give yourself a chance to go for a while.
Absolutely. What's the longest outing you've let one of your pitchers have so far this year?
This past weekend, we had our single 9. I let a guy go to 112, which is way further than I would like him to go at this point, to be honest. So, that's kind of one of those things where now, because of that, I'm going to have to look for opportunities and ways to, again, kind of playing the long game here to the end. Don't want to burn out this dude all the way at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going to have to try to scale back and see if I can get him into that like 70 to 80 pitch window the next couple outings, but usually that's like, honestly, at this level, now that we've gotten to about this point in the season, 90 to 100, like that's your window for a starter. Like that's where by that time, and sometimes, like I said, with mine, you stretch it just a little bit. Other times, maybe you can cut it a little bit earlier because the game is in, like you feel good about the situation, or maybe the outing's not going well, and you need to go to somebody else sooner. But I would say 90 to 100 is pretty good spot to be for college. I know I really do think a good thing they've done in high school is put some of the pitch count limits on them, just to make sure, you don't have pitchers who are, pitching 80 or 90 pitches today and then turning around 3 days later and pitching another 80 to, like there's I think that's good. It's good for the guys. But also I'd say, speaking from someone who has had Tommy John, I think another reason you see so many guys having it is because they need to throw more. And what I mean by that is like maybe not necessarily always the long toss or the distance, but guys just aren't throwing enough. And so they get themselves into situations where, like they ramp up too fast instead of taking a longer period of throwing at certain distances and over time, or, they're not throwing at all this day, and then they're picking up this day and instead of just making it this expanded thing of like, the arm adapts to what it's put through. And if it knows it's got to do that every single day, then it's but again, everybody's probably got an answer for it of whys and things like that. But I just think it's, the consistency of going out there and throwing just a little bit each day. It's like that's the way you moderate instead of like spiking to, well, I'm not going to throw it all today because I got to throw a lot tomorrow. And then.
So what do you put any stock into Trevor Bauer's approach? Because that I'm aware of, he's never had Tommy John, and he preaches long toss and throwing every day. Do you use that at all with any of your guys, or do you let them make their own decisions?
That's what you're trying. I mean, that is what you're trying to get them to do. And, like even during like the midst of the season, you really like there's never an off day. Like even a day where you're not playing or practicing or doing something, like you still want to call it an on day, and you're trying to make sure like you get them out there to do something. Because like if you're rolling and you got momentum and your season's going and you're just like you think, oh, we need a break. Well, you can give your guys a break, but that still needs to be a day within your cycle of just this light, like making sure they do something. Because if they don't do anything, it really does take them essentially 2 or 3 days to get back to where they were. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's so true. Like, again, it goes back to that consistency, a little bit each day model. It's just like swing check each day, tossing each day, field each day. And right now they're in the prime. Those are like the two things or one thing. Got to make sure you do it every single day. And if you'll do it, you'll get rewarded for it as far as health goes and consistency. Whereas if you take a day off, where you can still have a rest day, still do things. But if you take a complete day off, you're able to show up the next day and something happens with your swing that you never intended and you can't feel it, but it started to happen. Or your arms now had to readjust to a new schedule when it thought, oh, I'm supposed to do this every day. Sounds weird, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and announce this now. Right now, go to ChinookSeedery.com. Best seeds ever. Use promo code Golden Broom to get 10% off of your purchase.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
We're so excited about that. I've been ready to let that graphic go for a minute now.
Right. So apparently
I would be a jalapeno ranch or the cinnamon toast guy. Those are my favorites.
So I will say the Parmesan pepper is really good.
Okay.
But Hatch chili, that's the one you need to try next. I promise.
I'm going to get on it this weekend then.
You definitely need to.
So
I'll have to talk to them. I'll get them to send you all a box up there. So make it worth it.
Yeah. Apparently somebody has another photo of the same player in the Florida game where it shows the second baseman handling the play in the grass. And they're trying to pass it off as this is the play in question. Well, it can't be because the play in question, the ball goes to the pitcher, goes off the pitcher and rolls over to the shortstop in the dirt. So the image they're showing of the second baseman in the grass fielding the ball isn't the same play.
That's wild. Yeah, I would say, I don't know. If it's coming into that interference or obstruction at first base, then you would feel like, though, for where that call was coming from, that it would have to be more from the second baseman in the grass, because I feel like that throw from shortstop there, like that picture we saw, if that's playing contention, there's no contact between the defensive player and the offensive player. But if you're just if the argument is off of where he touches the base and what color, what side, I don't know on that. But I would say it was more likely to happen on a play where there's contact between the fielder and the runner. But who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. Let's see what we got over here.
I may have a video coming in.
I like a good video.
9-inning no-hitter, 1-2. Ground ball to the left side. Charging it is Katayama Stahl. Quick release across the diamond, and he does it. A perfect game for Ryan Renbiz and the Portland Pilots. It's never been done here on the Bluff. And Ryan Renbiz just with the distance. A full 9. 12 strikeouts.
Dang.
Nice.
You know what makes that more special, though, is the fact that he's a senior. I like to see the older guys getting something like that for their last season.
You got to say thank you to Andrew, our guy over at College Sports Villains, for sending that to us.
Man, that's awesome.
Really good stuff.
Johnny on the spot tonight.
I like it. I ain't complaining.
So speaking of Johnny on the spot, do you want to talk about a team that was not Johnny on the spot this weekend, Cody?
Yes. Oh, man. Let's do it. Yes. So you get to be part of this special moment for us, the Dirty Jockstrap Award, which is the award that goes to the team that just straight up stunk it up this weekend. We're hoping to get this award, sponsored by Dude Wipes in the future. But right now, we don't have a sponsor for this one. But the team that got this is just is near and dear to Chris's heart.
Near and dear.
NC State Wolfpack.
Oh,
I mean, it was bad.
That's who has to get this. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
They had a rough go of it. I don't want to steal your thunder here because you may be bringing it up. But did you guys see about Maryland Eastern Shore? What they did?
Oh,
Speaking
it's
of
funny that you say that. They are actually our mid-major spotlight of the night. I mean, lose 55 straight and then, get one over Tosin, who is, let's be real. Pretty relevant team over the last, 20 years.
Yep.
That's huge for them.
Gosh, I'm so glad you guys brought that up. That makes
we followed them so much last year just to see if they won a game or not.
Yeah, just hoping they can get it done.
And what I found out in doing the research last year, the longest losing streak in history in college baseball previously was 88 games. And it was ended with a win over the team that had the second longest losing streak in the NCAA history. The 55 games ended up being the third longest in history.
Wow.
In this day and age, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's wild.
That being said, the big award for the week, the Golden Broom Award for the team that had the most impressive week, that won all their games. You can't lose a game. This is presented by Chinook Seedery. Promo code Golden Broom, like we said, for 10% off your order. But this one was a hard one because you had a few teams that put up some good weeks. So last week, our Dirty Jockstrap winner was Arizona. And then they went and won everything. They did fantastic and won every game last week. So we're hoping that this curse / opposite of a curse kind of thing is working, I think, because last week Michigan got the broom and then they completely just lost it in Texas this past weekend. But this week, it was a tough one because Alabama had a very impressive weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one team that had a little bit better of a weekend than them, and that is the Oklahoma Sooners. You get 2 top 10 wins in back-to-back days. You can't top that.
That was big Round Rock Classic there. I'm really looking forward to seeing all those teams play in Houston this weekend too.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome. That's
Tennessee actually gets to play a team with a pulse for a change.
Oh, here we go.
Well, hey, same for LSU though. Tennessee and LSU pretty much had identical schedules to start the year in terms of the quality of opponent, and I think it was good for both teams to get those out of the way to start, so they can be ready for this week, because LSU has Dallas Baptist tomorrow night, and I'm stoked for that.
It's going to be good, but no, Oklahoma did an awesome job. That's awesome. I'd forgotten about that Virginia game. That was big.
It was, yeah. So they have the Witherspoon twins, who are their 1-2 punch at pitcher, and then their number 3 starter is Cameron Johnson, who transferred from LSU. He was a projected late first-round draft pick, decided to go to college. His biggest thing is getting out of his own head and being consistent in the strike zone, and that's just been something he struggled with. But he started against Virginia, and he had a very fair outing against them, actually. He looked really good. He fit the role. Defense didn't have his back the whole time, but overall he did enough to get him a few innings, and then the bullpen came in clutch to close it out.
That's great.
And yeah, they played some really good ball. And Oklahoma was a team that we expected them to have a pretty solid year, but what they've done to start the year was not expected at all.
The only thing sad about that is they can't draw over 800 fans.
Yeah, 832 for their home game over the opening weekend, and for an SEC team, that's embarrassing.
Yeah,
a team that's team that's been really good. I mean, heck, they played in the championship game.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
22. Yep.
Wow.
So I don't know what you do about that situation, but like Cody said, it was hard this week. I try not to be a homer and nominate. Vanderbilt has a lot of weeks where they go undefeated. I thought about nominating Vanderbilt this week because they did something they've never done. They played seven games in 7 days.
Yeah.
Which they've never done. And then they went undefeated last week, beat a good St. Mary's team.
Mm-hmm.
So they were 5-0 on the week. But I consider competition to be a factor sometimes. And, Air Force hasn't panned out to be great this year. So I left them out of it. But Alabama beating, coming from behind to get Ohio State. They beat Coastal Carolina, who was preseason top 25. I forget who else was on their schedule.
NC State.
Who,
by the way, lost again tonight. They are trending down so hard right now.
The 3 teams that I think at some point are going to get your Golden Broom Award are going to be, and I'm going out of the SEC here. UNC is going to get it at some point.
I agree.
Florida State's definitely going to get it at some point, and Clemson's going to get it at some point. Those are the 3 that.
So.
And Georgia Tech will get it too.
They really could.
We also do something interesting around with our baseball stuff. We do what we call a heat streak. It's not really an award. It's just we'll make an image and say, hey, this is a heat streak. Wanted to let you know this team has won 12 straight games. I'm pretty sure Florida State's going to get one. I'm sure Tennessee will. North Carolina. Vanderbilt's up to 7 right now.
Yeah.
So there's some teams that will get that. But once you hit 20, we actually give out an award for that. So you want to tell what the award is, Cody?
I can't remember the name of the award. It's
the
been so
Flame
long.
Award. The Flame Award.
Flame, that's right, yeah.
Because if you've won 20, you are on fire.
So, Chris, do you remember a few seasons back, Fairfield, they went on that big run, and I was like, Chris, I don't want to share this award. I don't want to curse them.
Yep.
Because we'll tag them on social media and all that when we do it, and every time we do it, they lose.
Yeah.
And I did not want to release it for them on that one.
Well, I mean, I get it. It's the same, it's like those unwritten rules of baseball. It's like the guy's got a no-hitter going. Don't talk to him. You can't be the one that's like, hey, is he getting hit yet? Or whatever. Like, you just can't. I tell my guys all the time, like, just keep your mouth shut. Because once they say something, even if it's not a no-hitter, like, hey, so-and-so's throwing really well today.
It's like, why are you doing this thing?
It never fails.
Let him get done with his outing before you open your mouth about it, all right?
Yep.
Well, I promise you, if Roane State gets the Golden Broom Award, because, hey, you guys are in contention just like any team. This can go to any team. It doesn't matter what level it is at. We will not tell you about it.
Fair enough. I appreciate that.
I'm the guy, if I see somebody's throwing a no-no or something, I'll get in our chat and I'll say, we might have a situation.
Yes, and I hate you every time you do that. That's so much.
That's a good hint, though. That's a good hint without giving away too much information.
Yep.
The worst is so we used to have some admins. They're no longer in the group, but they would come in and they would post about it instantly. Oh, man, they're in the 4th inning. They got a no-hitter going. We're like, dude, stop.
Way too early. Stop. Way too early.
It kills me because when I'm so I went to a Vanderbilt Alabama game a few seasons ago when they before Alabama had their new stadium, and so they're playing in Hoover, and Carson Fulmer was throwing for Vandy, and he had like a 1-hitter going, and I had never stayed so quiet during a game because I was just like I'm going to be the one that jinxes this for this guy.
Right.
And then when he allowed the 1 hit, I was like, thank God, because. But, man, that was one of the coolest pitching performances I've ever witnessed in person.
So, fun story. The night Kumar Rocker threw his 19th strikeout in the super regionals. So my better half, Marla, she had gone to rehab. She was still there. And I had gone to Alabama to visit her mom to go to her daughter's graduation. Had never met either one of them. So I'm there. This is going on. I'm like, I can't even text Cody. He's like an hour away from me. And I'm like, I was so nervous just following on Twitter, getting the updates before I said a word to anyone.
Oh, yeah, you were gone.
That's great. You're right, though. Can't jinx it.
Can't jinx it.
So, well, that's good. Well, guys, y'all know I've got a noon game tomorrow, and I got a big early day. But do want to say thank you guys so much for always having me on, chatting it up. And hopefully in maybe about a month or two, we can get back on and see what some of the predictions we've made have done for the season, and we can kind of catch up so we see some more big time performances. That'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to plan it out somehow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But what I'd like to do at some point is get a couple of your guys like Matt and Miles, get them on the show and have Randy on with them, get some chatting going on with him. Randy was part of In Off the Bench, one of the original founders.
Yeah.
He's since moved on from that, but he's still great friends with all those guys. And that's what they do. They get on there and just let the players tell their stories.
That's great.
And they pick and have fun with them. But I'd love to get Miles and Matt on if you're willing and they're willing. Get them on and let them talk to Randy and us and let them tell their stories. Because I know Miles has been through some stuff.
That would be the
just
best.
Love to hear it.
Yeah, that would be the best thing. I think if I could get a couple of my guys on here. I think you guys know from doing player episodes already. It's just cool. It's just different. It's a breath of fresh air, and it's just it really brings something to the show that you really can only get if you're able to catch one of those guys and get them on. So we'll set that up for sure.
Absolutely.
I know they'd love to do it because you give them the opportunity to tell their story, but more so than that, you give them the stage to give their opinion on some sports stuff, some baseball. They'll absolutely do it because that's all they're talking about on their side combos anyways.
So last thing I'm going to ask you real quick. I know that you guys do like some fundraising for your baseball program and all that. Where can people go to donate if they want to or anything like that?
That's good. The easiest way I think is just, get in contact with me, and you can mail a check to Roane State Baseball and just send it to the school with my name, and I'll get it. But the school does have where you can go to, Roane State. You can just Google Roane State Athletics donate, and it should take you to the page where you can drop down, donate online, choose it directly to go to the baseball program, put in your information, or sometimes people like to be anonymous. And that goes directly to me in the way of I'll get a notification, and obviously those things are big time in helping us continue to do what we do. Because as you can imagine, we do have to do fundraising to make sure our program's running at an elite level. We always do an hour-a-thon at the beginning of the fall, and that's always fun because it's my guys just spend 1 hour just calling, 20 to 25 people, getting on the phone with them and, talking to them about our fundraiser, but then, just really catching up, which I think is a good tool for them to do. And then we also went and we worked security for a concert. So we worked the Morgan Wallen concert this fall.
Nice.
It was at Neyland Stadium. That's pretty cool because my guys got to work for money instead of just asking people for money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you asking that because donations go a long way for us, and I'm definitely grateful because you can imagine I try not to, but I stress about the money managing of it all, of running a elite program, giving my guys the best experience, while they're here. That's what I try to do.
Yeah.
Take care of my guys while they're here instead of like, oh, I'm going to save this for this. I think, I just spend more time praying about those big projects and if it's supposed to happen. But in the meantime, just want to take care of my guys that I have. So I appreciate you asking that about the donations and things.
Well, next time you'll have something come up, if you want to do any kind of like advertising or anything like that, we are more than happy to help with recording anything you want or need with players or with yourself, whatever.
Yeah,
we got you.
that's
1,000%.
Really appreciate it.
And then, along with the fundraising, a lot of schools participate in what on the NCAA level in open doors. Is there any kind of program like that at the JUCO level where people can donate to NIL or offer NIL monies to your athletes, such as I'll pay you $20 if you'll make a spot for our podcast or anything like that?
Yeah. You know what? We don't have that yet. There's some, NJCAA's kind of put some rules together about some NIL things that guys are able to do. We just don't have that yet. But you're right. It's something we do need to be working on just so when opportunities do come up for our student athletes that they can take advantage of that. I know when I was their age and I was a college kid, it would have $20 to me was like a week.
Yeah.
Inflation now probably is not a week for them, but I mean, still it's pretty big. So
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you tomorrow. Big games tomorrow.
Yep.
Get some good sleep.
Appreciate you guys and go Raiders until next time. All right.
There you go. All right, man. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Good night.
All right. Well, Chris, that was fun. Every time we have Coach Hamsley on, it's always a blast. I enjoy it. Yeah, I'm about to say there's never been a bad time. Man, that was awesome. We don't have a lot more to really go over tonight, but one thing I really want us to address tonight is our new partnership. I mean, let's talk about it for a minute. So, for years, we've seen Chinook Seedery all over social media. We've had their seeds. We've reached out. We've chatted with them before. I mean, their quality of their product is elite. And I'm not just saying that because we're partnered with them now. It's because you can ask Chris. I literally have the product. They've actually sent you the product before.
Yes.
Like, we know the product, and they're good dudes that run it. And I'm not saying this just to say this, but their flavors are top notch. That Hatch chili, man, Parmesan and pepper, those two are I could eat those seeds all day, every day, and not even think twice about it. I mean, they're just so good. And I'm beyond thankful to be working with them. I have some ideas in my head of some stuff I want to do in the future. Can't wait to share that with you guys. One thing too, you may notice my hat, the Golden Broom podcast hat. So I know Chris wants one, but so my birthday.
Can't believe you didn't order two and send one to me.
I know. But so my birthday was last Monday, and so for my birthday present, I ordered myself a custom hat. I've wanted to do this for a while. I wanted one of our previous show. I wanted one of this one. And when I looked at the logos, I'm so happy I waited till this one because I absolutely love this logo more than anything. It's my all-time favorite logo I've ever made. And when I sent it to this company, honestly, I found this company on the TikTok shop. I was on TikTok and I was looking for custom hats because if you go online and look for a patch hat or something like that, minimum you're spending like $50, $60 for a hat. And this is a Richardson hat. I mean, it's a very good hat. And this is a leather patch. It's printed on. It's textured. Like, it's really good patch. And I found on there, I had some credit on my TikTok, so I used that towards it. And I found a deal. It was marked down like $26. And it said custom patch. And I was like, okay. They had a lot of reviews, very good reviews. I'm like, all right. So they say basically you make the order, you send them an email with the image of the logo you want on the hat. They'll send you a proof, and then they'll mail it to you. So I ordered this thing, and obviously they get a lot of orders. The communication was top notch. And today I get home, and sitting on my porch was a box, and I had no idea what it was going to look like. And I opened it up, and this is what I got. And I am beyond thrilled. I love the gray with the white hat. That's always been my favorite style anyway. With the patch on it, it makes it pop. And I honest to God truth, I can't wait to just wear this out. People be like, hey, what's the Golden Broom podcast? But what I'm going to do is, since these turned out so good, I'm going to reach out to this company and see about maybe making it where we could either I get a few and just maybe do a giveaway, or we make it where, you guys can buy them if you're interested in it. I have no idea the plan on that yet. I may just buy a bunch of them and just have them on stock just in case. And then I don't know how I'd use them, giveaways, sell them, whatever. But I love it.
That's a sharp looking hat.
It is.
That hat looks better than the shirt I had made when I was down in Florida with the Golden Boot podcast on it.
Honestly, I like that shirt. That being said, though, I found the original Golden Broom show shirt that I had made for my kids recently. And
really?
It fit. So I got it for my oldest daughter originally. Now it fits my son perfectly. And now that we're back to the Golden Broom, I love that he wears it. And it looks really good. I mean, I like the old logo, don't get me wrong, but this one, nothing tops this one. I just like this got a freaking broom on it right there. That's what pops. Well, actually,
Right.
who am I kidding? That O and golden with it being a baseball. That I like that too.
Pretty good.
But yeah, I'm gonna chat with the company.
I actually have something that a lot of people in college baseball smack don't know about. Our baseball group.
What's that? Oh, you talking about the shirts?
Let me turn off my camera for just a second.
Oh man. Actually, you do that. I gotta get something too. I bet what I have is the same thing that he has. I love this.
Mine don't show up as much. I've got about 10 of them things.
Yeah, so mine.
I need to start giving them away.
I was about to say, you can see mine's pilling a little bit. I like to wear it. I love this shirt.
Yeah,
this is one of the coolest logos that we've had, actually.
Remember you did them in team-specific colors?
Yeah, I sure
still got my Vanderbilt one.
Do you really?
Oh,
nice.
And the LSU one popped.
Oh, yeah. That was what I was hoping, too, with the LSU one. Hey, check this out. Dominic Ambrose is heading for the NFL Combine tomorrow. That is going to be fun. Man, I hope you get to grease some palms up there and have a heck of a time. That's going to be so fun. Man. I can say NFL Combine is like on my bucket list of media things to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, covering an NFL game in person, I think, would be a lot of fun.
We may get there someday.
Yeah. I just want to get into the SEC tournament. That's all I care about at this point. I swear, if I get snubbed this year on media, I'm going to lose it. I think I'm going to have to build us a mock website just again so that – because I shut the other one down, obviously. And
you've already built two.
I know. Well, the other one I shut it down though because I mean, my God, they were trying to charge me like $80 to like extend it another year, and I was like, I'm not paying $80.
The one on WordPress?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Oh no, you're thinking about a different one, not that one. No, that was just the basics. I'm talking about that. Remember the one I made for the podcast, and it was only podcast specific stuff on there, like videos and all that.
I never looked at that one.
Exactly, because I never shared it very much. I just had it as just like a footing to show that we had an online presence per se outside of social media, and which I need to get us another one of those set up because it would help us probably in the long run. But yeah.
Well,
and also, I'm gonna give a shout out tonight. I don't usually shout out too many outside like media organizations, but obviously, I gotta give a shout out in off the bench because We love their
Yeah,
stuff.
Jim was in the comments tonight.
Yeah.
Always supports us.
Dude, I think he's looking at potentially 19 former guests being in the major leagues this year. That's just unheard of. And then also, my new favorite college baseball go-to, College Baseball Central. And so over the years, I've known about him for the last couple seasons or whatever, and I hadn't really paid attention to him much because I only recently, like the last probably year, I've gotten pretty big on Twitter again.
Yeah.
And I will say, in preparation to the season, their content easily rivals D1, easily, if not surpasses it.
That's College Baseball Central. That's Noah Darling and those guys, right?
Yes. Yes. And
They do a podcast every Saturday morning.
Yes, and it's fantastic. It really is. And then Noah's got one. It's Truck Stop Baseball, and I will say that he has become one of my favorite accounts to follow on Twitter because the posts he makes just crack me up. Like the other day, he had one he was flying down to Arlington for the baseball series, and he was talking about how he didn't realize that he had to prepay for internet on the flight or whatever. And he said he leaned over to the guy sitting next to him, asking him for an update on the Michigan game. And I was like, dude, that's just funny to me. That's great. But no, those guys are great. I didn't understand their style at first, but then as I actually got to see it more and interact with them more, I like their stuff a lot.
They're more relaxed than D1 is.
Yes. So they really live that mantra for the fans, by the fans. Mm-hmm. And I like that a lot. And they are definitely a group I want to keep following because their rankings are actually pretty solid.
If you want a good source for stats and breakdowns on RPI and things of that nature, Warren Nolan is a good site.
Yep. Warren Nolan is my favorite site to go to for the nitty gritty of things. And then also 64 Analytics is another one that I'm a big on now. And I like 64 Analytics because they're kind of like the PFF for baseball. Mm-hmm. And I like that a lot.
So I learned about one today. I have no idea.
Yeah, I saw.
I looked at it for just a second, and my baseball mind isn't on that level yet.
No, same. I was like, "What are they talking about?" On half the stuff.
I don't understand what College Stuff Plus is, but looking at the site, it has something to do with velocity combined with spin rate.
Yeah, I wish I had the time to break all that down.
Right.
Because if I did, I would do it in a heartbeat. If I could make college baseball my career, I would. But it's always going to be a hobby for me. And you know what? I am okay with that.
Oh no, we're going to make it a job because we're going to build this thing up.
Oh,
we're going to be the number one podcast on college baseball. I have dreams, my friend.
Oh, I mean, I do too. But I have told myself though, I am perfectly content if this always stays a hobby for me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. So, obviously the goal is to make it to where every week we have a paycheck coming in from it. But if that never happens and we just keep doing what we're doing, I'm all good with it.
Right.
So, yeah. But, man, this has been a good show tonight. It feels weird going 2 hours again.
Yeah.
But, no, it's been good. Chris, what's your final thoughts for the evening?
Final thoughts. Season's here. It's getting fun. It's interesting seeing some teams do some things that they haven't done before. Roane State's one of them.
Yep.
Northwestern, seeing UMBC, Maryland Eastern Shore win their game. That was good to see. But above and beyond that, I enjoy building relationships in this game.
Yes.
And off the bench. Randy coming over, joining us. Coach Hamsley, some of the players that we've had on. Relationships matter.
Yes.
And I've had a great time building relationships. I look forward to building more in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Stay
Yeah, I'm
with
very
us.
excited.
You'll have a relationship with us, and I hope to never sell you short.
Absolutely. Same. Well, my final thought is this. I need to give a shout out to the University of Georgia. And the reason I'm doing that is because last weekend they did something that I can't recall seeing. They hit a team cycle. In the same inning, they hit a single, a double, a triple, and a home run back to back to back to back. You don't see that.
Mm-mm.
You're getting a perfect game tonight. You got a team cycle the other day. We're 2 weeks into the season. I mean, my goodness, I can imagine where the season's going. Because the real final thought for me is this. You see teams right now that are really hot. And this is going to people that maybe have not been watching college baseball for extremely long. I will go ahead and tell you now. The top 25 at the end of the year is going to look totally different than what you see right now. The 8 teams in Omaha, nobody has predicted them correctly. I can go ahead and tell you. Omaha always. I will never do. I tried so hard this week to do Omaha. I can't do it. We played them, and still I could not get through the Omaha. I can't, and I'll never change it. I can't do it. But no,
So one thing to consider, you're talking about the rankings are going to change. You have cold weather ball and then warm weather ball. And they're
yes.
2 totally different things.
Yep.
You'll see pitchers that struggle early in the season
And get hot at the end.
because of the ball grip. Some guys can't feel the ball in the cold weather like they can in the hot weather. Kumar Rocker's a perfect example of that. He'd struggle in the early season and have bad innings. But then as it got hotter, the way he gripped the ball was different. And you'll see pitchers that might be throwing gems right now that later on are going to struggle because the feel of the ball.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how when Michigan made it to the national championship a few years ago. You know, they started out just basic. Those northern teams, that's the teams you got to watch out for because they may be a good team on paper and not look so hot early, but when it matters, they're playing some good ball. And that's what I like about this year in baseball is you're not guaranteed to see all the powerhouses make it to the end this year. I mean, mid-majors are stepping it up early, and I'm liking what I'm seeing out of them. I mean, Texas State winning 7-2 tonight over A&M. I understand it's a midweek. Midweeks don't hold very much weight. Like, A&M losing that game is not going to really hurt them in the long run at all. But a team like Texas State, that's going to boost them so much when it matters. And that team has been on the verge of being really good the last few seasons. And getting this win tonight sets them at that point. You know, also shout out UAB. UAB has been a team that's been on the cusp of just finally breaking through. Well, they're sitting at 6-1 right now. They just swept South Alabama, who's been a perennial in-state powerhouse for over a decade. Teams are stepping it up right now, and I'm loving every bit of it. Now, don't get me wrong. It's LSU till the day I die. But seeing the little guys step it up and play good ball and get into a different level, I'm all for it. So that's all I got tonight. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. You never know. We may even do a random pop-up show here and there. We don't know what we're going to do with this thing yet. Right now we're doing 1 day a week. We might have to go back to 2 days a week because I don't know about you. I feel weird doing 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because we've done 2 days for so long, but with baseball, the way it's scheduled, Chris knows my rule. I will not do a podcast during my team's game. I refuse to, and I'll never change that standing. I can't do it. So, but yeah, that's all I got for you tonight. Have a good night. We'll see you next Tuesday. Probably see you on social media because we got some graphics to share. So y'all have a good night.
On the diamond where they play, sweeping competition. every day. Around